Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss and learn about another form of business organization or business entity is called as cooperative society. In the previous videos or lectures we have discussed the different forms of organizations, that is entrepreneurship, partnership and joint stock company. So the cooperative society is another form of organization which is also very important, playing very important role in the society. So the name itself, cooperative society, giving the meaning of the business or definition for the cooperative society. So the society which is cooperating together in order to get the mutual benefit is known as cooperative society. So here society means it is not an artificial person, it is a group of persons. We can say the society when there is a group of people living. So here in this cooperative society business also, the people used to come together in order to cooperate one to another in order to get the mutual benefit from the society. Here cooperative society means it is an association of group of persons or people who will come together voluntarily and bringing the capital to the society, sharing the mutual benefit, and in order to improve the economic growth of the people. So it is not meant for the making profit, but basically it is for the mutual benefit and improve the economic growth of the people who are joining in the business or the society. So this society is basically managing by the managing committee who are democratically elected or selected by the members of the society. The people who are joined as a member in the society may elect or select the managing committee in order to manage all the activities of the society. So here the management committee is responsible for all the members in the society. Generally, these cooperative societies used to see in the rural areas where the farmers used to join in the society or take the membership in the society in order to share the benefits, cooperative one to another in order to get the benefits from the society. The government is also provide such benefits to these societies in order to provide the technology, machinery, fertilizers, pesticides, power sprayers and all other equipments for the farming on subsidies. So this is one of the cooperative society or mutual benefited society to all the people who are joining in the cooperative society. Now let us see what is the definition for the cooperative society given by International Labour Organization. So according to this organization, that is International Labour Organization, that is ILO, it is an association of persons, usually of limited, it means who have voluntarily joined together to achieve a common economic end through the formation of democratically controlled business organization and making equitable contribution to the capital required and accepting a fair share of the risk and benefits of undertaking. This definition was given by ILO, International Labour Organization. So here in this definition clearly defined the cooperative society as the persons or the people voluntarily coming together. Why? Because to achieve a common economic end or common objective. What is the objective of this cooperative society? Is to improve the economic growth of the people or the members joined in the society. And also here it is a formation of democratically controlled business organization. This business organization or this society is controlled and managed by the committee which is democratically elected or selected by the members of the business. And here it is used to making equitable contribution to the capital required. Whatever the capital is required by the society is provided by the members of the business by acquiring the shares from the society. So the capital required by the society will procured or pulled from the members by issuing the shares, by selling the shares to the members. And it is accepting, these people accepting the share of the risk and benefits of the undertaking. There are both sides, there is a both side here. There is some risk as well as the benefits. So without facing any risk, any business or the society, we may not get the benefit. More the risk, more the benefits, any form of business. Like here in cooperative society also there is some risk as well as more benefits in cooperative society to the members. This was given by International Labour Organization. Here in simple words we can define the cooperative society as it is an association of a group of people who come together voluntarily and with the motive of cooperative basis. What is the motive or objective of this cooperative society? Is cooperative basis, cooperate one to another, and mutual benefit. It is not, there is no selfish to any member in this society, but these people are coming together for the mutual benefit to get the economic growth. So this society is used to improve the economic conditions of the members in order to increase the economic growth. This is the definition of the cooperative society. So the industrial revolution created several imbalances in the society. So the gap between the haves and have-nots increased substantially. The rich people exploited the have-nots in terms of long hours of work, lower wages, higher prices and bad service conditions, and so many problems are created by these rich people or the businesses. So the working class, the weaker section, or the people who are living the below poverty line or the below average line, here suffered so badly that they were compelled to think of an organized action for mutual help in order to better their economic conditions in especially the rural areas. So this situation took the shape of a cooperative movement throughout the world. It is not confined or restricted to one geographical area or one district or one village or one state or one country throughout the world. So the philosophy of the cooperative movement was to improve the economic conditions through collective efforts. It is not efforts are if it is not sacrifices of one person, but collective efforts. As a part of the cooperative movement, cooperative societies were organized for farmers, weavers, traders, consumers, and such others who are not earning more and more income, huge income. These people used to come together in order to start one organization which is known as cooperative society. Which is known as cooperative society. The name of the society itself disclosing, revealing the meaning cooperative society, cooperating one to another in the society is said to be cooperative society. So this cooperative movement in India is more than 100 years old. It is not new to the market, not new to the business firms. It has a 100 years history. So the Cooperative Society Act 1912 provided a legal basis for the formation of the cooperative credit societies in especially villages and in urban areas for granting loans to their respective members. According to the Cooperatives Societies Act 1912, here it is providing, this act providing Cooperative Society Act Cooperative Society Act 1912. So this cooperative society is formed according to this act, Cooperative Society Act 1912. So this society must follow all the rules and regulations and terms and conditions and formalities of this Cooperative Society Act 1912. How the companies form according to Companies Act 1956 and 2013, and how the partnership business will form according to the Partnership Act 1932. Likewise, here the cooperative societies also must follow the rules and regulations, terms and conditions of Cooperative Society Act 1932. So here today we have innumerable number of cooperative societies in every village or everywhere in the market, such as cooperative credit societies, consumers cooperative societies, industrial cooperative societies, marketing cooperative societies, cooperative farming societies, and cooperative housing societies, and so on. So there are many societies are there in the market at present scenario in order to improve or increase the economic growth. But here, due to some reasons or some problems in some areas, see these cooperative societies were collapsed due to lack of managerial skills, due to lack of government support, due to lack of coordination between the members, due to lack of mutual understanding between the members, or due to lack of any other reason, or due to any other reason. So these cooperative societies are collapsed in some areas, but many areas these societies are running very successfully in order to providing the benefits to the members. So here basically the members are the farmers in that particular village or surrounding villages. So a cooperative society is a society registered under the Cooperative Society Acts 1912. So the cooperative society must register under the Cooperative Society Act 1912. It should be registered. It is a registered company. So whenever the company or the society or the form of organization registering according to the acts means there should be a legal existence. Like our company is incorporated or formed according to the Companies Act 2013 or 1956. Therefore there is a legal existence. Similarly, here the cooperative society is also formed or incorporated according to the Cooperative Society Act 1912. Therefore here there is a legal existence, means government used to interfere in these societies at the time of providing benefits to the members, at the time of making some rules and regulations, and also at the time of punishing, at the time of taking actions if any frauds are occurred in the society. So a cooperative society is an association of the weak who come together, uplift themselves from the weakness to strength through organized efforts. Yes, this is also one of the purpose of cooperative society. A cooperative society is an association of the weaker sections who come together to uplift themselves from weakness to strength through organized efforts. Right? So this is about the definitions of cooperative society. Now let us see the various features of cooperative society, like entrepreneurship, partnership business, and joint stock companies. Here for the cooperative society also there are various features. So based on the definitions that we have discussed, we will find different features for the cooperative society. So let us see what are the different features having the cooperative society one by one. So the first one is, it is a voluntary association. So here the members of the cooperative society or the people joining into the society is joining voluntarily but not forcefully. No one is here forcing to join in the society to purchase the shares. People join in the society on their own interest. They have a common interest of improving their economic status through joint efforts. They are free to leave the society after giving notice. So there is no restrictions to join in the society, as well no restrictions to leave from the society. But only the thing is they need to produce one notice to the society or managing committee that they are leaving from the society, or at the time of joining in the society also they need to apply for joining in the society. Next one is separate legal entity. Yes, see, this cooperative society is incorporated or formed according to the Cooperative Society Act 1912. Whenever the form of any type of form of organization is incorporating according to the acts, then it is comes under the legal entity. It has a separate legal entity. The society is to be under the Cooperative Society Act 1912. It has a separate legal existence. It means that it can buy the assets, it can sell the assets, it can borrow the funds from the government or the financial institutions, or it can sue and be sued. It can do anything on its own name, that is society name. Therefore it means that there is a legal separate legal entity. So separate legal entity means it is an artificial person which is created by the law, or which is created by this Cooperative Society Act 1912. The next one is compulsory registration. So whenever the members or the farmers in the village or the particular area wants to form a cooperative society, they must register their society name in the registrar. So every cooperative society has to be registered under the Cooperative Society Act 1912, unless it is not has any legal existence. Then the next one is membership. So here membership is open for all. There is no restrictions. there is no restriction. Usually membership is available to all the irrespective of their background in terms of caste, religion, political affiliation, or weaker section, or rich people, or any um, discriminations. Irrespective of all these, any person can join in the society in order to take part in the society, to provide the service, to cooperate with other people, to get a mutual benefit from the society, and so on. So that here there is no restrictions to join in the cooperative society in terms of any area. Right. Next, the limited liability. See, in case of entrepreneurship business, there is unlimited liability because he is whole and sole person or owner to the business. In case of partnership, the liability can be shared by the partners. But here the liability sometimes may extend to their personal assets or the properties. Whereas in case of joint stock company, sometimes it may possible. There may be chances to go for the assets. But here, in this case, cooperative society, the liability is very limited. The liability responsible for the each member is limited, that is extend to the shares held by the members in the society. For example, here they have the member hold 10% of the shares, and he is responsible only for 10% of the liabilities of the society. If the members hold 20%, then he is responsible only for the 20% of the liability. Means how much shares acquired by, how many shares acquired by the member are held by the member, for that extent only he is responsible for the liability. So that is called limited liability. There is no chances to extend the liability responsible to their personal assets or the properties in case of cooperative society at any cost. The next one is setup is democratic. So here whatever the cooperative society is incorporating or forming in the area, that society is completely setting up as a democratic way. So the executive members of this society elected in democratic way, they used to conduct elections to elect the executive members who will manage and control all the operations of this cooperative society. Any member can contest for the executive committee. The member who are joined in the business may contest for the executive committee. So only the member of the society may elect as a executive members. So that election in terms of democratic way, they used to conduct elections periodically. Next, management and control. So here all the members cannot manage and control all the operations of the society, because here the society is setting up is a democratic way. The committee which is elected by the other members in the society can manage all the operations, and also they will control all the operations in the society. So these people are the responsible for all the operations, and whenever the questions raised by, issues raised by the other members, these persons should take the responsible to satisfy for all the issues and questions raising by the members. They have to satisfy the other members when and where they raise the questions in the society. And one member, one vote. Irrespective of the shares held by the members, each member can have a right to vote one time. Means that here each member is given only one vote irrespective of the shares. For example, here I held 50% of the total shares. Mr. A held 50% of the shares, Mr. B held 20% of the shares, and Mr. C held 10% of the shares in the society. And other people like D held 20% of the shares in the society. So irrespective of the size of the shares held by these A, B, C, D members can allocate the vote equally, right? Here giving the right to vote is based on, not based on the shares held by the members, but equally distribute among the members joined in the society. That is there in case of cooperative society. Next, service objective. The main objective of the member is not to make the profit but to improve their own economic well-being. So here the main purpose, the main intention of the members of the society, of the managing committee, of anybody in this form of organization is not to make the profit but to improve their economic well-being, economic welfare. Sometimes this economic cooperative society may also conduct various welfare activities in the locality, in their particular area. Next, reward to capital. Yes, the contribution to capital will yield a minimum rate of interest only, unlike joint stock company and partnership business. The rate of interest in case of partnership business may high. The rate of interest in a joint stock company may high, but whereas in case of cooperative society, the rate of interest on the capital that is providing by the member may be very low. That is, only the minimum rate of interest can earn by the members on the capital that is providing to the cooperative society or contributed to the society. Next, non-transferability of shares. As here the shares in cooperative cannot be transferred from one person to another person, unlike a joint stock company and a partnership business. Whereas in case of partnership business, of course there are more restrictions to transfer, but there is a possibility. Whereas in case of joint stock company, in case of public limited company, there is no restrictions to share these shares or transfer the shares to other persons. Whereas in case of private company, private limited company, there are some restrictions to transfer the shares. Whereas in case of this cooperative society, here the shares cannot be transferred from one person to another person. Next, distribution of surplus. Yes, here the surplus that is generated by the cooperative society after making the payments in terms of interest to all the members of the cooperative society, if they find any surplus, the surplus can be distributed among the members of the cooperative society. There are very clear-cut guidelines regarding the issues such as distribution of surplus among the members in various types of cooperative societies, or transfer of surplus to the reserves, or payment of bonus to the members, or utilization of a portion of surplus for the welfare of the locality, or so on. So for each and every aspect there is a clear-cut rules and regulations how to utilize, how to distribute the surplus amount available in the cooperative society after making the payments to all the members and all the financial institutions or the governments or wherever they have borrowed funds to the society. So this is also very important feature in cooperative society. there must be a clear cut rules or guidelines regarding this distribution of surplus among the various areas. So sometimes this surplus amount may also used to develop the locality. So the main objective of this cooperative society is utilize the surplus for the welfare of the members and that of the society. So they are the features of a cooperative society. Now let us see various advantages of cooperative societies. However, how we have the advantages for the entrepreneurship, partnership business and joint stock company. The cooperative society is also having huge advantages to the members. So the advantages of this cooperative society are easy of formation, voluntary organization, equal voting rights, economic justice, limited liability, continuous existence, zero speculation, risk of bad debts, secrecy, each for all and all for each, self-government, larger identity of interest, government support and taxes. They are the different advantages of or various advantages of cooperative society. Let us see one by one. The first one is easy of formation. So here formation of a cooperative society is very easy except registration. So the registration of this cooperative society according to the Cooperative Society Act 1912 is one of the difficult to form the cooperative society. Except that registration, forming or incorporating or running the business is very easy. If like-minded people or the people who are interested to share the benefits, share the ideas, run the business in order to get the mutual benefits, then automatically the cooperative society may be formed. Generally, these cooperative societies used to see in villages because all the people are well known in the same village since long back. So they used to stay in their villages in that locality. Therefore, all the people are know very well about themselves. Then automatically, it is very easy to form the cooperative society. The next one is voluntary organization. So here, a cooperative society is viewed as a synthesis of personal liberty and social justice. Plan people can join a society to improve their economic conditions because the main intention of this cooperative society is that share the mutual benefits or get the mutual benefit. So it is not intended to make the profit but get the economic growth or improve the economic conditions. So here organization can be formed voluntarily by the people. There is no force to any people who are going to join in the society. So therefore it is called as voluntary organization. And equal voting rights. There is a slogan in the cooperative society that is one man one vote, that's all. Irrespective of shares holding by the members in the society, the voting right can be given only one. Means that here there is giving equal preferences to all the members. They are not giving a particular preference to in one particular person. So the This principle, that is one man one vote principle, prevents the domination by a few members. There is no issue of dominating by the some people with the other people in the society. So here equal voting right is there in case of cooperative society. And economic justice, as here the profits are distributed among the members on the basis of their individual contribution to the profits of the society. For example, if you have invested 10% of the capital, or if you have contributed 10% of the capital to the society, then you will get the worth of 10% of returns from the society. Or if you contributed 20% of the capital to the society, you will get worth of 20% of returns in terms of interest, or in terms of bonus, in terms of any other benefit. Means here this benefit or the returns purely based on the capital that is contributed by the members in the cooperative society. There is no partiality, there is no partiality, or there is no secrecy in distributing the surplus amount among the members. Therefore there is a economic justice in case of cooperative society. The next one is limited liability. Yes, here unlike entrepreneurship, partnership business the liability is very limited to the extent the shares held by the members only. So how many shares you hold in the society, that much of responsible only to the member in terms of liability. Therefore the liability responsibility is very limited to the extent the shares held by the members. It is not extended to the members' personal assets or the properties. There is no such issue in case of cooperative society. Their personal assets or the properties are not at all responsible for the losses or the debts of this cooperative society. That is there in case of this cooperative society. The next one is continuous existence. Yes, here as it is a legal entity, separate legal entity, because this cooperative society is incorporated according to the Cooperative Society Act 1912. As it has a legal existence, it will be continued for a long period. That is continuous existence. The members of the society may join or may leave from the society, but the society is there in a place which will be continued for a long period because of a separate legal existence. The next one is zero speculation. Zero speculation means, see, the shares of this cooperative society are always available to the new members who are ready to join in the society. It means that there is no need to pay higher price on the shares than its face value. For example, here the face value of the share in the cooperative society is 10 rupees. Only the new member can pay the 10 rupees, need not to pay more than the 10 rupees to the society. For example, here 2 lakhs rupees required to incorporate cooperative society, and these 2 lakhs rupees are collecting by issuing 20,000 shares. 20,000 shares means that this capital is dividing into the small units. This unit is known as a share. Now what is the share value of this cooperative society? That is 10 rupees. 10 rupees. The share value of the cooperative society is the 10 rupees. This is called as a share value or face value of share. See, whoever coming into the business, need to pay only 10 rupees, need not to pay more than the 10 rupees in order to purchase or acquire the shares of this cooperative society. That is there in case of cooperative societies. That is what called a zero speculation. There is no decreasing or increasing, or need not to pay more price or the less price. They will pay only the 10 rupees as per the face value of the share, need not to pay more than that in order to join as a member in the cooperative society. The next one is risk of bad debts. Yes, see, as it is purely cooperative society, or it is supported by the government, and it is run by the people or the members of the society, hence there is a very low the risk, and bad debts issue is very less, because the funds are very less, the funds required for the society is very less, and the operations of the society are also very less, and similarly proportionately the risk of the society is also very less compared to the entrepreneurship, joint stock company, and partnership business. The next one is secrecy. See, here there is no secrets in this cooperative society, because it is not the commercial organization or commercial entity, commercial business firm. It is purely service organization. It is purely meant for get the mutual benefit. Therefore, it is open to all in the firm, and each and everything will be revealed and disclosed in front of all the members. Need not to maintain the secrets in case of cooperative society, because it is purely meant for the society. And the next one is each for all and all for each. In case of cooperative society, all the members will work for one, or one member can work for all, because a very few members of the society may elect as a management committee. Therefore, these few people only can work for other people, and these people, the members, management committee themselves called as principal for themselves and agents for the remaining members, and these members or the management committee will work for all the remaining people, and as and when required the support, all the members may coordinate with the management committee in the cooperative society. Therefore, there is a possibilities to work each for all and all for each. Then the self-government is. So here this is possible. It is possible in case of cooperative society. The society trains its members in different fields of business to make them proficient in their activities. With the help of the training they receive, they can monitor activities better. So these societies also will give some training to the members. If any member wants to start the business, those members will get the loans, will get the benefits from the society in order to start their business. For that, the society will also will train these members in order to run the business efficiently and effectively in order to support to the society. So self-government is there in case of cooperative society. Only the society people will get the training from the society members. Then larger identity of interest. So the cooperative society operates in a limited geographical area or a limited economic group. So there is a larger identity of interest among the members. So the members can work for healthier work environment and they manage their activities more efficiently and effectively. Very small group of people can join in the society from the very small geographical area. So this is not the members not coming from the different corners in the state or the country like joint stock company, because these societies are used to incorporate or establish or form in a particular area or the region. Let us take an example, village. So only the people who are living in that village can join as a members in this society, and this society can provide the service to only the people who are living in this village only. For that they need to take the membership from the society by paying some nominal amount as a membership amount. That is what called share value, price of the shares. Next, government support. Yes, as this cooperative society is incorporated according to the acts, automatically there is a legal existence. And where there is a legal existence for the companies, there is a support from the government. It is not only giving, or government is not only giving support to the cooperative societies, when and where required, sometimes they will take some actions also if any frauds occurred in the society. So the government extends all the supports to these cooperative societies in terms of loans at the lower rate of interest, lower rate of taxes, subsidies, providing toolkits, and providing like um, power sprayers to the farmers, machineries, tractors to the farmers, fertilizers, pesticides, or any other equipment which can be used by the farmers. So this kind of support will be given by the government, and all these services given by the government in subsidies means only some part of the amount will be repaid by the members to the society. The remaining amount will be paid by the government. That is what called subsidy. So here governments will provide the service and subsidies to the farmers in order to um, uh, give the encouragement to the farmers. The next one is taxes. As here, as it is government company, means part of the government, and very close to the government organizations. So automatically the rate of income tax is also very low. There are special rates of taxation applicable to the cooperative societies. They are very relatively low when compared to the entrepreneurship, joint stock company, as well the partnership business, as it is uh, relevant or related to the government company or the government support, as it has a government support. So they are the some of the advantages of cooperative society. See, generally these cooperative societies are, we can see in villages, where the farmers used to join as a member in the cooperative societies and elect the management committee or controlling committee or executive committee periodically by the members. And these management committee or controlling committee also the members of the society. These people are not from the outside. Only the people who are taking the membership in the society can elect as a management committee or executive committee or a controlling committee in order to look after all the activities that are conducting in the cooperative society, and it is purely meant for the mutual benefit. There is no secrets, nothing. Everything is disclosed, everything is open. Any member can ask anytime uh, the management committee or a controlling committee about the issues in the society. So this is advantage of the cooperative society, and these cooperative societies are providing more and more benefits to the farmers, especially the people who are living in rural areas. These people will get the benefit. Of course, the disadvantages or the demerits of the cooperative society are not uh, affecting more on the cooperative societies when compared to the advantages. Let us see what are the different disadvantages of cooperative societies. Now, see, these are the some of the disadvantages of cooperative society, such as shortage of funds, inefficient management, legal formalities, shifting loyalties among the members, misuse of funds for the some sectional interest, recurring losses. So these are some of the disadvantages of cooperative society. Now the first one is shortage of funds. As here there is restricted reward on the capital provided to the society. Therefore, here finding necessary resources may be a constant problem. So there is a restrictions reward on the capital. It means that here, for example, if you invest 1000 rupees, here Mr. A investing 1000 rupees in joint stock company, joint stock company, he may earn 20% of 20% as a interest on this capital, that is investing in joint stock company. But whereas in case of the same person, Mr. A has invested or contributed 1000 rupees to cooperative society, where he will get only 5% rate of interest on the capital contributed to the society. It means that there is a difference between the interest earning by the same person and compare it to the joint stock company and cooperative society. So because of this discrimination, because of low reward, here there is a less chances to pool the resources for the cooperative society. This is one of the major disadvantage for the cooperative society. The second one is inefficient management. So here all these cooperative societies are located in rural areas or the villages or the urban areas. Here the executive committee members may not observe the principles of business, and with the result the society may collapse. And these people not with the intention as a business, but these people will work with the motive for providing a mutual benefit to the members. Therefore, sometimes these people may not manage effectively and efficiently in the society. Then there is a problem with the members in the organization. Then the third one is legal formalities. So here incorporating the business according to the Cooperative Society Act 1912 is not a simple task. They need to fulfill various formalities. The society is registered under the Society Act 1912. The formation, administration, conducting meetings, liquidation and so on are subject to the procedure laid in the Act. So these are time consuming and delays. This leads to delay. So here this is also one of the major disadvantage of cooperative society. There is more formalities, more delays, and not possible to implement the decisions promptly, immediately after taking decisions by the members. This is also one of the disadvantage of cooperative society. The next one is shifting loyalties among the members. Sometimes the members of one society shift to another to get the higher benefits. These possibilities are there in case of cooperative society. So this is also one of the disadvantage. When and where the members requested to shift the members from one society to another society in order to get the benefits, automatically other society may get collapsed. Means here there is no one society because of another society, due to the members are shifting from one to another society. This is also one of the disadvantage. The next one is misuse of funds for the sectional interest. Yes, in rural areas or the villages, there is the members may feel more about their religions, caste, and sections. So the financial disciplines is the secret of the success of many of the cooperative societies, where this is lacking in case of cooperative societies. Funds are misused and mismanaged. Here, when the business secrets are maintained by the management committee, then automatically the business will get success, which is not there in case of cooperative society. Everything will be opened. And sometimes this management committee may show some partiality towards some sectional people, some particular people. Automatically there is a misunderstanding between the members and the management committee that will leads to collapse the cooperative society. And the next one is recurring losses. Due to inefficient handling of affairs, the societies continue to get losses. This leads to loss of interest and faith in the system. Automatically there is a losses or the risk in the society. So these are the different disadvantages of society: shortage of funds, inefficient management, legal formalities, shifting loyalties among the members, misuse of funds for the sectional interest, and recurring losses. The students, so despite of all these disadvantages of cooperative society, these cooperative societies are suitable where members are come together voluntarily or spontaneously with a common interest, where the members are loyal and committed towards the work, committed to share the mutual benefit and united, and where the members have the government support, and where the members have proven the skills in management. This cooperative society is very suitable. So dear students, until now we have seen different features of cooperative societies, advantages and disadvantages. So this is also one of the important concept in examination point of view, like all other forms of business entities such as entrepreneurship, partnership and joint stock company. There is a chance to ask the question as what is a business entity, explain different types of business entities, or what is business entity, explain the entrepreneurship business, or explain the partnership business, or explain the joint stock company, or explain the cooperative society. Or sometimes they may ask the questions indirectly as here entrepreneurship business is better than partnership business, explain. In such cases we need to explain the advantages of the entrepreneurship when compared to the partnership. Sometimes they may ask a comparative study of any two of these business entities. So based on the question we need to answer in examinations. So if you want to attempt the question in examination, you need to thorough about all these types of business entities respected to the features, advantages, disadvantages, and also where this type of business entity is suitable in the market. Okay students, all the best.